So, for starters, The Secret Life of Olivia, Champion of Light by Brian Weaver and Paisley Jackson. It's about this 9-year-old girl,
Right.
Olivia, who seems totally normal at first, but then, bam,
Yeah.
discovers she has magical powers.
But this isn't your typical, chosen one story.
Right.
The source material hints at something much bigger. Olivia comes from this long line of women with these unique abilities. They protect 2 entire realms from these beings called shadow sprites.
Whoa.
It's like a legacy of light passed down through generations.
So we've got family secrets, magical destinies, all in this coming-of-age story. I have to admit, it already sounds pretty good. But tell me more about this lineage. Where does it all begin?
Well, there's this clue. It's almost hidden in plain sight. Olivia inherits a silver jewelry box that's been passed down through her family. And it's engraved with MCMXXV.
MCMXXV.
Yeah, which translates to 1925. 1925, wait a second. Is there a time travel element here? Am I picturing flapper dresses and magic wands?
Not exactly time travel, but definitely a link to the past.
Okay.
The notes suggest this inscription ties the jewelry box to Olivia's great-grandmother, who was also named Olivia. And get this, there's a photograph of her great-grandmother holding the box and wearing a bracelet that looks exactly like the one Olivia ends up with.
Okay, that's a little creepy. So we've got inherited powers, a mysterious artifact, and a potential connection to the Roaring Twenties. Tell me more about this bracelet. What's the deal with the magical gems?
Okay, so think of the bracelet like a key.
Yeah.
It unlocks Olivia's magical potential.
There are 5 gems, each representing a different ability. There's a pink diamond for communication, a white diamond for wisdom, a green emerald for, enhanced sight, a blue sapphire for controlling light, and a red ruby for creating light.
Oh, wow.
It's like a whole magical toolkit on her wrist.
So she has this amazing power set. But how does she learn to actually control it?
Well, she's trained by a light sprite named Miles,
Okay.
who communicates with her through light.
Through light.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Imagine trying to learn how to control fire while someone's talking to you through flickering flames.
Whoa, that's a great analogy. So how does that even work? Is it like telepathy or more like sign language, but with light?
That's a great question.
Okay.
But we see Olivia struggle at first. She gets distracted by the light itself. Almost like she's trying to read a conversation while staring at a disco ball. It takes her time and practice to learn how to focus on the message behind the light.
I can imagine. That sounds super challenging. It's like trying to listen to a podcast with fireworks going off in the background.
Right.
You'd really have to concentrate. So what about those other gems? What's the deal with this enhanced sight? Is it like X-ray vision?
It's more like she can see this hidden layer of reality where magic flows and interacts with everything. The emerald allows her to perceive this magical energy, which is super important in her fight against the shadow sprites.
Oh, so it's not just about seeing through walls, but understanding how magic works in the world.
Exactly.
Okay. And the shadow sprites, are they like the ultimate bad guys here?
They're definitely the antagonists.
Okay.
They want to merge the realms, which would totally disrupt the balance. It's like a classic battle of light versus darkness.
Right. But like any good story, I bet there's more to it than that.
You got it. There are layers of complexity.
Because there's also this whole element with Olivia's best friend, Arthur. And I have a feeling it's not all sunshine and rainbows there.
You're right about that. Arthur, who we find out is a shadow sprite himself, actually deceives Olivia. His mission is to prevent her from activating the artifact.
Which is probably what weakens the barrier between the realms.
Exactly.
So there's this betrayal within their friendship. That's got to be tough for Olivia, especially at 9 years old.
Yeah.
Why does Arthur deceive her in the first place, though? Is he just plain evil, or is there something more going on?
It seems like at first he's just following orders driven by loyalty to his own kind.
Okay.
But as they become closer friends, he's torn between what he has to do and his genuine feelings for Olivia.
That's a really interesting conflict. Duty versus friendship, it's a classic struggle for a reason. And it makes Arthur a much more compelling character, right?
Right.
It's not just black and white, good versus evil. It's this moral gray area that makes you question who to root for.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole deep dive so interesting. We're not just summarizing a plot. We're trying to understand the motivations and complexities of these characters.
Well, I'm hooked. So Arthur is battling his conscience. Olivia is learning to control her powers, and there's this looming threat from the shadow sprites. What happens next? Does Olivia confront this threat head on?
She does, but not without facing some major obstacles and consequences. The climax is where things get really intense.
Okay, I'm ready for the drama. Tell me more about this confrontation. How does she use her powers? What are the stakes?
Well, this is where those 5 gems come into play. All that training, the struggles, the victories, it all leads up to this moment where Olivia has to use everything she's learned.
And this is probably where we should leave our listeners in suspense.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot. The mysterious artifact, the connection to the past, the training and magical abilities, the complicated relationship between Olivia and Arthur.
A lot to take in.
It is. We'll dive into the exciting climax and what happens after in part 2 of this deep dive. But for now, think about this. How do you think those 5 gems will factor into Olivia's battle with the shadow sprites? What role will Arthur play in all this? And what about that inscription on the jewelry box? Keep those questions in mind as we continue exploring the secret life of Olivia